Good morning, primary class. This is your Monday lesson for our story, Trouble in Jerusalem. Now, Paul and his friends were in Jerusalem when many Jews had come from all over the world to attend the Feast of Pentecost. Among those who came were some of Paul's enemies from places where he had preached about Jesus. One day, Paul, who was a Jew, was in the part of the temple court where only Jewish men were allowed, and some of those enemies saw him there. Before that, he had been seen in Jerusalem with a Gentile friend, and those enemies thought that maybe he had taken the Gentile friend into the temple court with him. And the Gentiles were never allowed in that part of the temple court where Paul was that day. What happened? Acts 21 verses 27 through 29 will tell us all about that. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Jews which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on them, crying out, Men of Israel, help! This is the man that teaches all men everywhere against the people, and the law, and this place, and further brought the Greeks also into the temple, and hath polluted this holy place. For they had seen before with him in the temple Trophimus, an Ephesian, who had they supposed that Paul had brought into the temple. Now, Paul, of course, had not taken any Gentile into the part of the temple court where they were not allowed. But the people became excited and angry, and they dragged him out of the temple court, out of the part of the temple court. In verse 30. And all of the city moved, and the people ran together, and they took Paul and drew him out of the temple, and forthwith the doors were shut. Oh my. The crowd wanted to kill Paul, but when the Roman army commander in Jerusalem heard of it, he rushed with his soldiers to where the crowd was beating Paul. That faithful missionary, verse 31 and 32 tell us, and as they went out to kill him, tidings came unto the chief captain of the band, and all of Jerusalem was in an uproar, who immediately took the soldiers and centurions and ran down unto them. And when he saw the chief captain and the soldiers, they left the beating of Paul. The commander quickly bound Paul and tried to find out what he had done. The crowd shouted several different things against him, and when the commander told his soldiers to take Paul into the strong building they used, the crowd became wild. The soldiers had to carry Paul on their shoulders to keep him from being killed. Oh my. Verse 33 through 36 tell us, Then the chief captain came near and took him and commanded him to be bound with the 2 chains, and demanded who he was and what he had done. And some cried one thing, some another among the multitude. And when he could not know the certainty for the tumult, he commanded them to be carried into the castle. And when he came up the stairs, so it was that he was borne of the soldiers for the violence of the people. Oh my, that was terrible. Now, think about this. Paul's enemies hated him. And Jesus said that hating someone is the same as breaking the commandment that says what? Thou shalt not kill. That's right. Do you think there was any hate in Paul's heart too? I have a friend visiting me right now. That's why I'm a little distracted. Here, come here, Bobs. Come here. This is my kitty Bob. He was going to help tell the lesson today.